How's it going, everybody? This is Martin Stokes here.
And this is Dean Scurry.
And I'm a traveller.
And I'm a countryman.
Welcome to A Traveller
And a Countryman podcast.
Do you want to introduce our guest this week?
Yeah, you put me in the spot again.
Yeah, I'm going to do it now.
Shawnee, what's your second name? Not Kinsella, is it?
Yeah.
I thought I heard that.
Yeah.
Go on, Beanie Boy.
Go on, you. This is episode 11. We've done the 10 comfort zone episodes. Now we're going to go into new territory.
Wow.
So you take the lead now.
That's news to me.
Because I'm at to be in here setting all this up for the last half an hour. Martin just strolls in thinking it's all going to be sorted.
Involved with this, yeah. I know what you mean, Dean. We have our guest here anyway, Sean Kinsella, yeah? The one and only Sean Kinsella.
You're not going to be calling him Johnny Kinsella for the last
I said
time.
Shawnee.
No, you said Johnny. John.
Yeah, but I done rehearsals in the last 2 minutes.
Thank you, man. That was a great intro. Thank you. But
So, Martin, episode 11, it was just me and you. I'm at the moving the mics, so they're getting a new mic. They're putting the chairs in a different place. So,
All good.
How are you feeling?
Comfortable here, yes. As I said before, it's a grand little studio here, isn't it?
I was talking to Sean before you turned up, and I said, let's drag Martin out of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
You're at the having a handy number for the last 10 weeks.
Give it a try, Dean, and see how it goes.
And the door is right beside you there now.
Yeah,
if you feel the pressure,
Yeah.
out the door.
No, I was never really one for running anyway. I like to stand my ground whether I win or lose.
So we're doing something different here. We're breaking new ground, right? You'll be laughing now to the other side of your face now.
I'll leave it out, son.
We're breaking new ground. We're doing stuff here that hasn't been done. So wake up, Ireland. Wake up, the world. A Traveller and a Countryman has gone past episode 10, and we're going to be inviting guests in. Men, women, black, white, Irish, English, Brazilian, disabled, gay, straight, every single shade.
Anyone that puts a euro in the hat.
Anyone who pays the bills, yeah.
yeah, and brings a back of the rich to eat with them.
So anyway, what are we going to talk about today anyway?
Well, what do we do? How do we
I
go?
don't know. You said you have the last 2 hours. About an hour, is it?
I've been
Did
here
you tell me
since
you have
I've
last
been
hour?
here for an hour setting up all
Have
this.
we not thought of anything that we can talk about? No.
We're gonna see this man in front of us here.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk to him. We're gonna get his energy vibing in this room, his love vibing in this room.
So we're going to talk about Johnny's transformation in life. Is that it, Johnny?
See Johnny again.
Shawnee, sorry. Sorry, folks. I'm going to use Dean's word.
I don't mind you calling me Johnny,
I'm going to use
man.
Dean's word. Sorry, folks.
Because John is Irish for Sean anyway.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah. So Johnny is cool. I'm good with Johnny.
Are you
After about 10 more
Sean or
podcasts.
Shawnee?
I'm Sean.
Are you?
He's
Yes.
Shawnee with a J.
Shawnee with a P.
Well, it depends.
Go on, yeah.
So that's a good
ladies and
question.
gentlemen out there in podcast land, The Traveller and Countryman, episode 11, we have our first guest on, Sean or Seany Kinsella. It depends. What does it depend on, brother?
It depends on...
Probably what good humour he's in, good or bad.
Yeah, it depends on... I suppose it depends on where I am internally in myself, what type of energy that's going on. And Seany is me Ballymun name from the street.
Right.
So Seany is like, there's Seany. What's the story, Seany? What's going
Seany
down?
Kinsella's looking for you.
Seany Kinsella's looking for you. Annie Yokes, what's happening?
Annie Oaks, is that your auntie, is it? Annie Oaks.
Annie Yokes, love.
Yeah, Annie Oaks.
So Seany is the street name for who I thought he was.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And Sean is my authentic, real being. Who...
That's very new aged healing, isn't it?
Yeah.
My authentic, real being.
But that's...
You bleeding muppet. Yeah.
It's who I actually am. It's me. It's the real Sean.
But you've been Shawnee for bleeding years.
Yeah.
And what happened?
What happened?
When did this Sean character turn up?
So that happened a good few times in my life.
Right.
I always knew that person was there in my soul. That goodness, that love. I always had that. But I just, unfortunately, what I was doing in my life, I couldn't show that side of myself. Yeah?
To who?
To the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just the people, just to just to the world or the perceived,
Oh, yourself.
or myself even, yeah. So I was just afraid, and I hid behind Seany Kinsella.
What was that like?
It was great.
We're straight in here. I love this. Because I'm going to do a whole section. I'm actually going to do I'm going to do a section because that's really nice and we're going to come back to it, right?
Yeah.
Sean Seany Kinsella.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a whole section that I came up with. I think it was in episode 9 and we didn't do it in episode 10. And it's called Sayings, Slaggings and Superstitions.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm interested in just words that we use, like malahide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just loads of them, loads of those types of slaggings. There's superstitions. Like Martin has a superstition. I don't know if it's a superstition or something he just thinks. He doesn't wear earphones that are wired into his phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he thinks his brain is going to blow up from bleeding radiation or something.
Yeah.
I find that bizarre.
That's superstitious.
That's a superstition. Yeah.
Right.
Do you think it's superstition?
I think that's a superstition.
Did it ever happen to you?
What do you mean?
Just a simple question. Did it ever happen to you?
What? Like radiation?
Yes.
No.
No, not necessarily radiation. There was a bigger explanation than just radiation or just superstition, okay?
I love this part.
Right.
See that bit that
Dean
comes
just
out?
loves throwing you in right in there, into the deep end.
We're doing the bleeding
Doesn't make a
podcast.
difference if you can swim or not.
No.
Tough.
Now,
You're a big
did you
girl
ever
now.
have
Get
a
up and
headache?
dance.
Did you ever get a headache from? We did talk about this from phones, mobile phones.
No. I got a
You never
headache
did.
looking at it.
Then, so your line must be right then, because I get one when I put it in your hand.
Oh, the other one was the other one we talked about was shoes on the table, right? And I said to him, "Why don't you put shoes on the table?" He said, "Because our Lord had the Last Supper at a table."
Yes, and I respect that. Okay, Dean, come here. Would you put shoes on the table?
Yeah,
I asked you this question
I
before.
would absolutely.
You would?
Yeah.
So you have no respect for a table to eat food off? Is that what you're saying to me?
Yeah, it's the bleeding table. I put my keys in, I put my phone in,
me-
I'd sit up on top of it.
Me as a thick Irish traveller, if I say that...
Now here,
I'd be
you call
criticised.
yourself a thick Irish
yeah,
traveller.
that's right, I'm calling to me, yeah. Me as a thick Irish traveller, if I say that, I'd probably criticise myself for it. You, as supposed to be an intelligent, educated countryman... Yeah.
We're getting deep.
You
now.
have no respect for putting shoes on top of a table to eat food off. Supposing you were so hungry you end up eating the shoe by mistake. What happened there? Yes.
So here's an Irish saying or a phrase, right? What's the crack? Right. So where did that come from?
Or what's the story?
What's the story and what's the crack?
What's the crack?
So what's the story is kind of like there is news.
Yeah.
Give us the news.
Give us the news. Yeah.
So
it's the key.
what's the crack come from?
What's the crack?
Do you not know? Did you not look up that? No.
I did have a look at it, yeah, but all those types of things really interest me. I don't know why,
Yeah, well, I
because we
mean,
say
what's-
them all the time.
What's the crack is just what's the crack.
Yeah, but where it didn't just jump out of a rat's arse.
No,
Do you know what I mean?
it didn't. It was cultivated throughout years of people having different experiences in this community.
So why
or
did they
in
come up with the
Dublin.
word crack? Why was crack the word?
It's like a word where people are sort of enjoying themselves. Like,
Yeah,
Obviously it is.
absolutely. Yeah.
so if the lads, what was the crack last night in the pub? Oh, we all had a good night.
Yeah, I know, but
That's
who
what
was
the
the
crack
first? Why did they start using it? Who was the first person to use the word crack?
But it is an old Irish spelling anyway, isn't it? An old Irish word.
The one we use is C-R-A-I-C, but it's
Yeah.
originally Scottish and
Like,
English.
it's not cracking the wall around, like.
Yeah, but it's originally Scottish and English, and then we borrowed it from them, and then recently they borrowed it back. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But we've only really been using it, according to the interweb, like since the 60s.
But sometimes there's no harm in sometimes there's no harm in borrowing something as long as you're not stealing it. Like,
Very good.
You don't have to give it
You're
back.
well versed in that. So it
Just
came
because you
from.
don't give it back doesn't mean you're robbed it.
It came from banter, loud conversation, brag and talk, Martin.
Wow.
Travellers, brag and talk. You
Yeah.
know all
Yeah.
of that.
Travellers.
Yeah.
Did I hear you? Are you here? I know you for 2 years now. You're bragging since the first day I met you. What makes you think Travis brags? And the other thing as well, we had a conversation here one time about travellers calling people out on the YouTube.
Yeah.
It had to be explained to him that professionals in America are doing the same thing. all top class paid boxers, high paid boxers, are doing the exact same thing.
Conor, I own the bleeding
So
yacht.
once you point the
McGregor does it
finger
all the
at
time.
the traveller, McGregor, yeah, right. I don't know McGregor, but I know about the other two lads, they're two brothers.
The WWE, it's
All
full of
the
it.
guys are doing it over there.
Yeah.
And you
Diaz.
point the finger at travellers, huh? To cheek you, countryman, huh?
The Travellers are the only ones not making decent money.
In the great when you're living in Malahide, isn't it?
Yeah.
Winnie, I'll bet you.
Especially in a high-rise apartment. You
Yo,
can look
yeah.
down on everybody you want to look down on.
So here's another one. This suits you, Martin. You've got a head like a baboon's arse.
If you're half blind, that's not my problem.
Well, where did that come from? They must have seen a baboon's arse and
Yeah.
a fella with a mad-looking rotten head. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
like
he's
a
a head
baboon.
like a baboon's arse. But I think there's going to be more phrases and different sayings in the next generation that'll be completely different
Yeah.
to them. Because they're like real slaggy kind of, what's the crack, go away Malahide.
There's one I hear, and like when I'm swimming out in Portmarnock, I hear the Portmarnock kids say it now, right? And it's Ma's life.
My man's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maz, but they just shorten it
But
down
that's
to
a real Dublin
Ma's
one, isn't it?
Ma's life.
Yeah. And an old one in Ballymun would have been on me nanny's grave.
on my nanny's grave. Yeah, so this is
Swear
like
on me
on my
nanny's
man's.
grave,
I
we
swear on
didn't
my
rob the
man's
money
life.
out of your bike.
And they're just, but they're using it with irony, like I'm going for a cycle. Man's life.
Yeah. It's a different.
They use it with a little bit of what are you telling me? Like it's like what are you telling me for? Man's
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. It's completely different.
Or they shorten
context.
stuff down. They just use the word. Like if you say, "Do you want to go on a walk?" They just go effort. They won't even go. That's a bit of an effort.
Yeah.
They just shorten it right down to effort.
Yeah.
What's the other one I was looking at? You have a face like a smacked arse.
You have a face like a well smacked arse.
You have a face like a well smacked arse. Yeah, deadly.
Yeah, that's a good
And
one.
they're all sayings, are they? Yeah.
These are all. You know these. Don't be acting
they're
like
just
innocent boy.
No, they're just a bit dry, that's all, Dean.
Well, give us a wet one then. will
I
you?
honestly thought.
Give us one that's a bit more wet.
I
Annie,
thought-
you got
Martin,
any
what's
bulletproof?
the
I thought it was something a bit
Would-
better than that.
You thought-
would these be, would there be sayings similar to that in the travelling culture?
Yeah, you probably get certain travellers coming up with certain words.
So
like that,
what's the this is
the
interesting, the
most-
traveller tongue.
I can't repeat them because it's more swearing than cursing than
Well,
anything else.
just- Say it, we'll
but you know
bleep
the
it out, we'll
traveller
bleep it out.
tongue. Do you know the traveller tongue I'm talking about? Go away with the BR and the this and the that. Yeah.
They can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
the other language, yeah.
Yeah, it's all the language that. Because I would have spent a lot of time. I was in Cork prison for a while, and there would have been a lot of travelling lads there, and I used to hear that language all the time.
Yeah.
Go away with the Bure.
Yeah, the
and
lacking, the
lacking, and
Bure,
the be white
the
sham, be
sham.
white sham.
The soup, yeah.
Yeah, the Sublia.
Oh,
Yeah, Sublik. Be white Sublik, you want you? Be white Sublik.
Shawnee,
She's
you
crushing
know
up
more than
behind
I
you.
do.
She's crushing up behind you, Sublik. Watch.
She's crushing up behind you. Book the Enoch there, Sylvie.
Yeah, book the Enoch. Yeah,
My
Sublik,
brother
get the
loves
Enoch.
that one.
Ah.
My brother loves that one. Dean, if I'm talking to Martin, Dean, tell Martin, book the Enoch. And he said to me, what's your brother talking about? A book the Enoch just means
Yeah.
hide whatever the thing is to be hidden.
But there is that. There is similar to this in the travelling culture, isn't
There
there?
is. There's loads and loads of words that travellers have.
Yeah.
But every traveller would have different words, if you know what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, how would I say it? And around Ballymun, you might hear the odd words. But if you went out the far side of town, you hear the other travellers having their different words, you know what I mean?
Right.
But down around likes of Wexford or Wicklow,
Longford.
they'd have all different words again, but probably representing the same thing, if you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Just
just,
give a different way of saying it.
Yes, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sure, we live in a bleeding country where if you go literally 2 miles in one direction, someone has a different accent. Never mind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never mind down the country.
Yeah, that's right.
There's parts of Dublin where I was listening to a girl yesterday doing a podcast, and she had this ferocious posh voice, right? I don't know why I said the word
What does
ferocious.
ferocious mean,
I don't
Dean?
know why I said that.
because
but
I'm
she's
not.
just had this really posh voice. She lives in the same city that I live in, and if we had a conversation, if I talked, my full kind of Dublin Ballymun accent, and she talked her accent, we just wouldn't understand each other.
What accent was she on?
She was kind of like what I would call
Posh.
a D4 posh accent. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it was
And what does ferocious mean? I need to.
it was full on, like
Yeah.
it was all the
Over
way.
the top.
It was the whole way. It was as posh as you could get. It was really
Yeah.
interesting. It was deadly.
It's the posh of the posh.
You know.
And were you shocked by that? Then you are.
I just think that it's interesting that in a city, never mind a country, you can have people who use all different words, languages, phrases. Like, there's only 4 or 5 million people in this country. It's only 200 miles across. You know what I mean? There's only 40,000 travellers, and even in the 40,000 travellers, there's all different kind of languages and slagans and sayings.
Yeah, sounds, the voice, different sounds of voice, like.
Yeah.
To be all the same, obviously the same language, like.
Here, this is something I was... do you know that we know when we hear a traveller voice that it's a traveller?
Yeah, that's why we don't get into pubs. Because you know...
Because you speak.
Because you know the traveller voice.
But we also know there's a traveller look.
So
do you know that?
Is it like a sort of a distinctive look, is it?
Very distinctive, yeah. I would... You would see someone and you'd go, they're a traveller.
There's something that stands out about travelling there.
Yeah.
But then there's something that stands out about, how would you call it? I think in all walks of life, there's something that stands out about that person, no matter who they are. Take solicitors for starters.
Yeah.
Did you ever see, Sean, you know this one, yeah. Did you ever see a man well dressed and say, he's definitely a guard?
He has a head like a guard. There's a phrase.
Did you ever get that?
There's a phrase. There's a saying. He has a head like a guard.
Huh?
Yeah, but you're right, because there is something about different pockets of society, as in solicitors, police.
But it's hard to point it out, isn't it? If someone asks you, how do you know he is? What kind of an answer do you give them? Like?
Well, you just know because you know.
Yeah, but
You know what I'm saying?
That's a very succinct answer. You just know because you know.
Yeah,
is it?
Well, I'm assuming it. Put it that way.
Yeah,
but
well,
there
I mean,
is
it's
no answer,
not.
is there?
You just get the energy. You
Like
sense it.
Yeah.
I'd sense it. Like if I see a copper, he's a plainclothes copper.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the gear, right, and he's going around letting on he's not.
So basically,
You know, he's walking around, he's
be
bleeding right on his forehead.
So sure, I know
I'm a detective.
he's
I say
sussy
to
as
him,
fuck.
mate, what's going on with you?
What do you say?
Here, bro.
I know
we all
me.
know you're a copper.
Yeah,
You tick.
we know what you're doing, you dope.
And
Now get out of here.
And I'm saying, how do you know? I know because my conscience told me to run.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, God.
So there's another one. You always say this, that, you know, I don't know if you say it like this, but you say that other travellers would think that you're away with the fairies if you said something. And that phrase, away with the fairies.
That's a big word in the travellers, in the older travellers, basically. You wouldn't get the younger ones saying much of that now. The older ones, she's gone with the fairies. He's away with the fairies.
What does that mean, man?
Basically, I think it's been crafty. The fairies are supposed to be smart. You see? So if someone says something, it could even be a baby or a child that's maybe 5 or 6 years old, that would say something that's really above their age, if you like. And the first word, look, he's taken away with the fairies. He's that old-fashioned. He's that smart. That kind of thing.
See, we would use it differently.
At times like that, it would be used.
Well, see, for us, away with the fairies means they're not right in the head.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, there are a couple of bleeding cards
Sandwiches short of a picnic.
Yeah,
a couple of pencils short of bleeding Honda 100.
No, opposite way around, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that mad?
No way.
Yeah.
That you think of it as in a sense of being clever.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and we think of it as in a sense where we say
It's the total
he should be
opposite.
locked up in Lomans.
He should
not well.
He should be doing
Yeah,
5
it
years in a
depends.
padded cell.
Well, it depends how old they are.
Yeah, it does.
See, if you're speaking about a child of 6 or 7 years of age, you're not going to say he should be locked up in Lomans. You're going to get
Well,
a
it depends on the child.
laughing at what he does. If you see a 40-year-old,
I know a lot of
if you see a 40-year-old,
Depends if it's Sean Kinsella or Seany Kinsella.
if you see a 40-year acting stupid, you say probably you're right.
Acting stupid. Acting the maggot is another one I looked at.
acting
the maggot.
Acting the Gomi.
Acting the goalie.
Do you hear that one, man?
I've heard it.
Do you ever hear that one?
Acting the
Acting the
goalie.
Gomi.
Where'd that go?
That's old school.
If you believe half the shit, some of these things you can't say, but I like saying them. Fuck it, I like saying them anyway.
Yeah.
Acting the goalie's a
Acting the goalie.
cracker.
Yeah.
What's the bleeding goalie?
I don't know. It was just a word we used to use years ago when we were youngless.
You know what word I love?
Sometimes people say words and I've got a clue what they mean.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what. I would never know.
You know what word I love? Poxy.
Poxy day.
Yeah, that's it. I'm after having a poxy day. You say that all the time.
I do,
I'm
yeah.
after having a poxy day.
And
you'd
I
draw
and
it
I
out.
draw it out the poxy. It's like I
yeah.
wanted to last. I wanted
See
the,
him.
I wanted
See
the
him.
poxy to last.
He's a poxy prick.
See that copper over there? He's a poxy cunt.
Oh, Daddy. What's the other one? I'm enjoying these because it loosens it up a bit. You know what I mean? Because we started off a bit heavy.
Yeah, we did.
And then we're
We
going back in.
started off a bit too heavy.
It's all right.
You were getting into me.
Straight in.
Yeah.
Me or you? Tell me all about you.
He was ripping into me at the
See,
start.
yeah.
Well, we're
Oh,
here and put
messing.
your head in me bosom and tell me
Yeah.
all your woes.
Jokes off, no kissing.
Have you got that with a message?
Yeah. That's a good one. I
It's a
like
good
that.
one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like a little.
Yeah.
I'm doing an action with my hand where I'm kind of turning my hand upside down like a brown envelope. Have you got that other message, bro?
Yeah.
Tell your man I'll be up later on to give her that other message.
Yeah. That's real behind the door stuff.
Yeah.
They do that in jail
under
a
the
lot.
table. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us
yeah.
some jail ones. There you go.
Whoa.
So you'll find out from Seany's story in a few minutes that he's done a bit of jail.
So the jail ones would be kind of similar to the ones we're talking about. So it's
Yeah.
all kind of underhanded. In jail, there wouldn't really be a lot said. Like when I was in jail, we used to rip up our sheets and we tie them onto the ends of each other, so we'd make a line. And on the end of the line, we tie a bag or something that we could put stuff into. So jam, butter, Weetabix, butter, Weetabix, hash, tablets,
Wow.
whatever it was you were trying to get across to your mate in the next cell. So he'd stick the toilet brush out the window. And I'd be on the other window. And I'd be doing Cowboy John with the bag. And then I'd just swing it.
Like a lasso.
Yeah, like a lasso. I'd swing it and I'd let it go. And it'd catch on his toilet brush.
Yeah.
And then he'd just pull it into his cell. And he has his little munchie for the night. Maybe a joint. And he's delighted with life. It's like he's at the winning the lotto.
And I would imagine in jail, for the most part, they just let that happen.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, but
So the officers are not on the land.
there's no cameras on
There's
it. and all
no
that.
cameras anywhere.
Yeah. You can see how much prison I've done. Fuck off.
Yeah, he's done nuts.
The smartest fucker in the room.
What a
No
dog,
jail.
yeah. So that's what we used to do. So a lot of the stuff we do, like, or you'd send something down to the next cell and it'd be hid in a diary or it'd be hidden something. So you'd say to the officer, say, Mr. Whatever was on, say, will you give that paper down to thing? And inside the paper there'd be a sheet of tinfoil with a bit of gear on it. And he'd pass it into bleeding whoever. Now, he wouldn't know it was in the paper. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you get unlucky. It might be a screw that'll check it, and then you're done for.
For all those posh fuckers out there, gear is heroin. A screw is an officer in the jail. We'll have to do like an index of words.
You'll have to put the index table.
Shy bag is somebody who's a shy bag.
Yeah.
Fucking daddy. I've one or two more of these, and I'm bringing some of these up because I know he believes loads of these and he says them.
Yeah.
But we just lose them because me and him are just the conversations just flow and we lose them all the time. So 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy.
3 for a baby, and 4
People
for a
still
boy.
say that.
Yeah. Magpies.
I'm not seen a magpie.
Yeah.
Shit.
Touch a H.
Touch it.
Do you never do that? You know the H is on the walls. We couldn't pass them when we were kids. We'd have to touch
That's
them.
called
If you've seen
OCD.
it-
Yeah, no, it's
You were
not.
that
It's a super.
traumatised.
Yeah, oh, you
What do you mean,
was
Johnny? You've seen a
traumatised.
magpie, is it?
No, if we seen a magpie, I'd have to see another one.
Serious?
Yeah, me head
So
be
would you
melted.
wait?
If I seen a black cat crossing the road, I wouldn't sleep that night. Yeah, because
Serious?
a black cat is representing death. That's what we used to think.
Nah.
And then the H's were interesting because we used to touch the H's when we were
What
going
was the
out
H, the
robbing.
hydrant?
No, you know on the streets where you pass a brick or a
Yeah,
lane of
what a
houses.
hydrant is.
No, it's not a hydrant. It's not. It's a H. It's a plaque
Yeah.
with the number H on it, man.
Yeah, so what's it for?
It's like a hose
pointed
or a
out, Johnny.
hydrant. It's for
It
water.
points out
It's
the
not.
hydrants.
It
It
is.
is, yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, there you go. We never knew that.
Listen to the way
But we
he says.
used-
Listen to the way he says the word. Say it, man.
Dean, leave
No,
it out,
come
son.
on, man. Say it.
Leave it out, son. Dean, we're going to get around to you in a minute. I haven't started.
Man, you used the word
We
hydrant.
haven't
I never heard
started.
it said like that.
Listen, we haven't started with you yet, okay?
Look at him.
Me and
He's
Tony
getting
has a
all
plan
weird
there.
now.
Isn't
This
it,
is what
Johnny?
we used to do. When we were going out robbing, we wouldn't be able to pass a H without touching it. For fear
Serious?
of not getting a touch.
Serious?
Swear to God. We think if we touch the H, we're gonna get
Yeah,
something
lucky,
today.
yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna hit the jackpot today, boys. Hit the H.
Who's we and when was
happened-
this?
And what happens? You end up in cell block H.
He ended up smoking H.
Yeah, but we ended up smoking H, and I ended up banged up and
Boys,
bleeding.
I never touched that
Se-
H again.
Very good.
There you go. You ever used to touch the H's? Never
And what
walk
was the
under
story
a
of the
ladder.
magpie? We seen the one magpie. You'd wait
We'd
for
have
the-
to wait to see another one.
So what, you were like 10 or 12 hours waiting? Would you wait?
Sure. I'd
Would you just
I'd
turn
run
back?
around looking for them.
Well, so this is when you were, I'm going to suggest it was when you were a young fella.
Yeah, when we were about 13, 14, we used to go out robbing most days. We'd start at Santry Gap and we'd do a full loop down through the Omni, around the back of Swords,
Robin what, like?
robbing anything that wasn't nailed down.
And that moved.
Creeping into back rooms, grabbing handbags, robbing phones,
Whoa.
anything. Money out of a till, stuff out of shops.
So before we get into all that, because we're going to get into all that in a minute,
Go on,
right?
go back to them, sorry.
That's beautiful. So there's one I found, and this is to be the last one. So sayings, slaggings, and superstitions. The Child of Prague, right?
Yeah.
Which I see in your gaff.
Yeah.
Yeah? I'm going to call it your gaff. I know
Who's
it's
the
a caravan.
Child of Prague?
You're going to get it off him now in a minute.
Jesus.
The Child of Prague. The Child of Prague is this little statue. He's got loads of statues. Loads of travellers have loads of statues. I'm sure you've seen
Why?
them. Because they just have statues of like angels and Jesus and Mary and all religious figures.
For what?
I'm going to hand you over to the traveller.
Why?
Well, you see, the statue of Our Lady resembles the statue of our Blessed Mother, and it's a figure that we would pray to in our homes.
Right. So, what is the?
It's a reminder that Our Lady is still around in our lives, basically.
So that's what the statue represents.
Yes,
And when you say you pray to it,
yes.
what's that about?
Well, when they say, like, for instance, I was in Lourdes 2 weeks ago, yeah?
Yeah,
There's a big statue of Our Lady there where Our Lady appeared. Have you ever heard that, Chav?
we have. Yeah,
In Lourdes.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people go there every single year to pray to Our Lady. So Our Lady is a reminder that she appeared. The statue there of Our Lady is a reminder to the whole world that wants to go there and has gone there that this is where she appeared.
right. And what if you're up to your bollocks and death? You haven't got a gaff, and there's nothing changing in your life. And
Yes.
you're going to Our Lady and you're saying, "What's the story?"
It doesn't work like that, Johnny, you see. It's not all about money or about...
No, but I don't even mean about money. I just mean
money,
about
money
like,
would sort that problem out, wouldn't it?
yeah, it would, yeah. But I
Yeah.
just mean I don't. I that was kind of a little bit sarcastic.
Yeah.
But I just mean in a way of. See, I was reared in a Catholic home, and we were forced to go to mass.
Right.
We were dragged to mass, kicking and screaming.
Right.
And I was told, "Put your tongue out. If it's black, you're telling lies."
Right.
That type of stuff. Do you get me? And we were told to say 10 Hail Marys if you were bleeding playing with your willy or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever, like, you know. And it was real kind of condemning. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So my idea of Our Lady and all of that stuff wouldn't be the same as yours.
No.
Do you get me? But I do respect your
Let's
belief
say,
in
Johnny,
that.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It
Yeah, I
depends
do.
what kind
Or-
of belief you have in Our Lady.
Yeah.
What kind of faith you have. I was reared with belief in Our Lady, and I have built a great faith on that.
Exactly.
Like right now, I have, let's say, I'm very close to Our Lady. I have very, 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 very strong faith in her. And let's say I believe that she can answer any prayer that we offer to her or request. For instance, there's been a lot of healings in Lourdes. A lot of healings in Lourdes. And it's not just in Lourdes, in Medjugorje, Fatima, Our Lady appeared in different parts of the world. She appeared in Knock in County Mayo. You heard of that, did you?
Yeah.
No, I don't go there fairly. But what I get a lot of, I believe that Our Lady gives me and my family a very, very, very strong, great protection at all times.
From what?
I feel from the world, from the whole world.
In what sense?
In every sense. We're living in a very dangerous world where a lot of people, let's say, have gone astray in a lot of ways.
Is that in relation to like alcohol?
And I think it's because, I'm not saying this is the answer to it.
Yeah.
Well, you have alcohol.
Drugs.
You have drugs. You have all,
Violence.
let's say you have violence. You have a million types of different corruptions in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah? Now, a lot of people get caught on that, but a lot of people don't. So if you, like for instance, if you have a higher power come from, as I believe, come from heaven, then we have something to aim at, something to believe in. For me, it's God,
And that protection.
Jesus, and our Blessed Lady, and I feel that every single day of my life.
So that's the protection.
I feel Our Lady's with me every single day of my life because I believe she's there. If I didn't believe she wasn't there, she would not be there.
Yeah.
So I have to have that inside me.
Yeah. You have that faith.
Do you understand?
We
If
do,
if I tell myself, look at Our Lady is not there, I don't want nothing to do with Our Lady, then she won't be there. But the fact that I do believe, and I also tell myself every day, and I feel the presence of Our Lady at times. That's no doubt about that.
Brilliant.
Because I have so much good in my life. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like I could probably name a million things through the years, but it's hard to think of everything. Like, you know what I mean? First of all, I have a beautiful family,
Yeah.
and of course that's through the blessings and the grace of God. I have that lovely family, yeah. As I said, John, there's a lot of corruption in the world, and thanks be to God in heaven, my family, or say myself or my family, is not caught up in it. Thanks be to God for that. And I wouldn't be looking down on anybody else or not wishing on anybody else either, like, you know what I mean? But I think through the power of prayer, now I do a lot of prayer. A lot of prayer I do. I go to Mass almost, I used to go every single day. And I go almost every day. Now I go every chance I get, I go to Mass.
In the last few days you were doing, was the novena, was it?
Yeah, I was doing a Triduum, a 3-day novena to Saint Anne. She's the mother of Our Lady, of our Blessed Mother.
Right.
She's the grandmother to our Lord Jesus Christ, our Saviour.
And the novena is where you just go to Mass and you
And
say...
novena is very powerful because what it is, it's, let's say, I won't call it a link of prayers. It's you could say that if you wanted to. But the thing about it is, the fact that you put so much effort into, like we have a 9-day novena as well, right? St. Anthony has a 9-day novena, yeah? And we do that. But the fact that it's like a step one after the other. It's how would I say it? It's combining prayer.
Or on a massive scale.
Also on
a big scale.
On a bigger scale, yes.
With loads of people.
Loads and loads of people.
And it's like a
it's
like a fireball of
you're uniting. It's like you're uniting your prayer with the world of prayer.
Yeah.
But it's happening all over the world at once, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
everyone's doing it.
it's happening
It's not
all
just
over
in
the
your
world.
church at that time,
No,
it's in
no,
other
no.
churches, it's all over the place.
And then there's
everywhere.
people that can't make it to the church are doing it from home.
Because I remember doing them here in Ballymun when I was young, because I was an altar boy and I was big into that. And so we're in interesting territory here, and it feels like the energy is at like shifting a little bit, which is nice. And so the thing I had in my hand here was the child of Prague. Put the child of Prague in the garden for good weather before the wedding. That was
That's right. Yeah.
So that's kind of like a superstition,
Then
but it's
you have
also
the
kind
other
of a
one-
thing in faith.
Then you have the other
You
one.
put the statue in the garden
Yeah.
before the wedding, the
Right.
day before the wedding, for good weather for the wedding.
Yeah.
What? you
you, Johnny.
hold on a minute. 5 minutes ago, you wouldn't walk under a ladder. You were touching H's, and you don't understand Martin stuff.
No,
what are you talking about?
I don't understand putting a statue
I don't
in the
understand
garden.
touching a H.
But this is I
I don't understand the bleeding magpie.
But Johnny, let's put it this way. I'd rather have more belief in God than I would in a cat. You just said a black cat. You just said a black cat earlier on represents whatever you want it to represent.
Hold on.
It
God made
represents-
cats.
It
I have nothing against
represents
cats.
Are you?
death.
I
Martin.
didn't say anything about wrong cats.
A black cat
No,
represents
Johnny,
death.
you were taught that.
Do you ever
Johnny,
see a
it's a
black
super-
cat crossing the road?
Yeah, it's a
Well, you
superstition.
should run.
No.
You can't.
It's a superstition.
So is the fucking lamp in the garden.
No.
It is, man.
No,
Not
the
a
lamp in
it's
the
a-
garden.
it's a
It's a
statue.
lamp or an
Johnny,
energy or a
I tell you
bleeding
what it
hoop.
is. I tell you what it is.
What
It's
is
a
it?
statue of Our Lady, right?
Yeah, in the garden.
Sorry, our Lord. I meant to say it's a statue of our Lord when our Lord was a baby.
Right.
Baby Jesus.
Is that what you said there?
So
then?
basically,
Yeah, the child of Prague. So it's
Child of
basically
Prague.
it's a small
Is a
statue.
baby
You
Buddha
know
Jesus.
this statue, but you just don't
Baby
know it as the
Jesus.
child of Prague.
I don't know it as the
If
child
I
of
show
Prague,
it to you,
man.
you go, "Oh my God, I've seen that
Yeah.
all my life." So Martin believes a set of things, right? You believe or did believe another set of things. Okay, one man's superstition is another man's faith. One man's faith is another man's superstition. Do you understand that?
yeah.
Like-
So if we're all
But
right,
faith is more powerful than superstition.
Well, that depends
Because
on where
that's,
you're looking
because
at it
that's,
from.
that's true for you.
Yeah.
For me, yes.
Yeah.
But why,
So for
why
some
is it,
people-
why is
some-
it called a superstition? Because it's something that's not real.
Yeah, but some people believe in it. Some people believe
but it's not-
some people believe in Virgo and Sagittarius
And
and
Taurus.
and Taurus.
And
I
the
don't
bull.
believe in all of that.
Yeah,
Do you
but
not?
other people
No.
do.
See, there you go. See, I would believe in that.
Yeah.
Do you get me? So I'd believe in the universe
Yeah.
and the stars and Jupiter and all of these other things and the moon and the
So
sun
who
rising.
made it all? Who created it?
I couldn't tell you.
I'm telling you now, God created it.
Yeah, and that's great. But I'm
Yes.
saying to you, I love watching
So
the
it
sun
means
rise.
that above all of this, above everything that's going on Earth, there's a higher power.
Yeah, but that's
And for me, that's God.
Yeah, but
Jesus.
yeah,
that's for you.
That's for you. That's the word for
I
you.
don't see
for,
that.
for loads of people.
All I see is the sun rising and the beauty.
Yeah.
And the love. And I'm just
Did
in
you ever
that.
use the word of God? Did you ever use God? Oh my God. Did you ever use that word?
Yeah.
So why do you use that word?
Because it's been
It's the
I've-
same way. It's the same reason he says you have a face like a slap.
Yeah.
No, it's not the same reason.
No, it's
But you know what I mean?
reason I
You
say
you would say that on a more serious note. Am I right? Like, do you ever
Well-
scratch your head and say, "Oh my God, what did I do
yeah,
here?"
no, well,
Oh
I
my
mean,
God, what am I doing here?
I, at one point in my life, had the belief that you have. I genuinely did, man.
Yeah.
I did, and I prayed.
No, I'm not
I-
criticising.
No,
Honestly,
I
I'm not
know you're not.
criticising that.
But I prayed. I had a belief in God, and I was in Christian churches with my hands up in the air. I
Yeah.
was fucking worshipping all of this stuff.
But you fell out of it.
No, I'd no feeling for a Martin. It was doing nothing for me.
Yeah, but
Do you
Johnny,
get me?
this is where the fate is. It's fate.
Yeah. So it
all
done nothing
boils down
for
to
me.
one thing,
So I
fate.
found now something else that works for me.
Yes.
And it's just pure love.
Yeah.
And that's in my soul.
Well, that's a very important. Like, that's probably one of the most important words on earth, anyway. What you said there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't take away the fact that, for me anyway, I'm not saying for yourself, if I have belief in something and I have good faith in something and I can feel it from inside, then there must be something good there. There has to be.
And Shawnee's saying exactly the same thing. He has
In a different-
faith and belief and feeling of love.
Yeah.
And you didn't always have that, Shawnee or Sean.
Where does it come from?
So that's a good question.
So let's go. So now
Yeah.
this is the time. This is the moment. We can
Where
all
does
feel
it come from?
Everyone can feel it.
Dean,
Go on.
where does it come from?
The love.
Yeah.
It comes from. See, it's complex. So
Comes from the heart. for
yeah,
starters.
no, but it's
Who puts it
see,
there?
it's not just as simple as that
Go on.
for me. So for me, it comes from years of trauma. It comes from years of addiction. It comes from years of being homeless, and it comes from years of just being really, really down on me luck and in the
So
gutter.
basically, it came from a good recovery. Is that what you're trying to...
No, it came from being totally broken and lost. That I was ready for Glasnevin Cemetery, and I'd nothing left in my life, and I cried out cried out to get some type
Who
of.
did you cry out to?
I just cried out from my heart. I didn't cry. I didn't even know what I was crying out for.
So do you not think God might be in your life without even realising it?
I don't know, but I just know that in that moment, something inside me soul broke. And I don't look at it as God, or I don't look at it as anything like that. I just look at it as I got to a point in my life where I just couldn't go on anymore the way I was going.
Could it be possible, no, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth here, could it be possible that somebody praying for you, Johnny, Shawnee, and you don't even know that?
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
Maybe
I'm sure there is. My ma's very, very godly. So she's prayers, does novenas. Me auntie does novenas. The Catholic side of kind of life would be ingrained in my family, but I don't believe it.
But there is
So
someone praying for you, Johnny.
I fell out with my ma loads of times. Me and my ma have had full-blown arguments because she's telling me, like, stupid stuff. Like, if I say something, like this, here's an example. So if I call me little one a kid,
Yeah.
my ma literally goes mental. She can't. She's not a kid. She's not a goat you're talking
It's not a
about.
goat, yeah.
And I'm like, she's my child. I call her a kid if I want.
I call her a bleeding baboon if I
Yeah, I'll
want.
call her a baboon. I'll call her a little lula. I'll call her whatever I want.
No, I
But
would
my
agree with that,
ma's
Johnny.
belief system is you can't call her that in the name of God.
Yeah.
Do you get me? That's what it is with me, ma.
So there's a thing here about belief systems. So, and if you don't believe in my belief system, you need to start believing in it. Yeah?
Right. So what I was saying there, Shawnee, was, right, there must be someone praying for you. I said that to you, didn't I?
Yeah.
So you answered my question, your mother prays for you.
Yeah, well,
So basically, you're saying about the love you have in your heart and the way you felt, how your life was sort of down and out and you didn't probably care about anything, yeah. So now you found something better, thanks be to God for that, right, in my words, yeah. So maybe that answers the question, does it?
no.
You do have someone praying for you, which is your mother.
No, but the love comes from that broken shell, right? Because during that whole time, I had this voice inside my heart that was saying to me, Shawnee, you are a good human being. You deserve better than this.
Who was the voice?
It just me soul was talking to me. I look at it in Martin as in I lived by it's like two personalities, if you like, right? So if one, and this was the personality that controlled my whole life. It was the one voice I listened to was get drugs, rob people, use, all of that negative stuff. I'd no balance. So then what happened when I got to the end of the road was this voice
And that was
in my
coming from your
heart.
head, it wasn't coming from your heart.
No, so then this voice from my soul started whispering to me. And I started saying, come on, Johnny, you got to look after the little fella. Come on, you can bleed and do better than this. You're decent, you're a good kid. And that started to get louder. The longer I was, being broken and battered, and the older I was getting, and the sadness was getting worse. The pain, the bleeding, hidings I was getting because I couldn't defend myself. And I was 26, should have been in the prime of my life.
What age are you, Johnny? Let me ask you.
42.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Did you ever think that, when you were saying this has come from your head where you were to do all the wrong things in life, basically? Yes. So if that was happening to somebody, that would say, let's say if I was allowed to say the word, right, I'd say that was come from the devil, right? The best way of saying it, because he's out there to make he's out there to destruct everybody's lives.
Yeah.
He's out there to bring you down, tell you what's wrong, or to do wrong, not what's wrong, but to do wrong in every possible way. And it seems like this sort of happened to you without maybe realising, probably, although you realise now. So now you're saying you're a different person, thanks be to God for that. The other thing about it is now you're saying what made you strong was coming from your heart. It wasn't coming from the head, it came from the heart.
Yeah.
Did you ever think for 1 second that it might be the power of God that's bringing that out of you?
No.
You never did.
I did when I was younger, but it was forced on me. It wasn't a belief that I naturally had.
Maybe did you think it was forced on you, Johnny, or was it just a normal teaching that you didn't understand when you were young?
No, it wasn't. It was
Because every child wants to go out and play and do something different.
I met a girl the other day, right? I'll give you an example. I met a girl the other day, right? I was doing a bleeding photography launch for a place that I do a lot of work with, and we were doing like a charity. We're doing a big cycle in September, so I launched it for them. They took photos. It was all, you know, it was great.
Very good.
So I done that, but I met a girl there. She stopped me on the way back up on my bike. She had mental health issues. Girl wasn't well. She's from Cape Town in Ireland, like a long, long time. And she says to me, is that because I had the Peter McFerry Trust jersey on me? And she says to me, is that the Peter McFerry Trust there? I says, no, that's the head office. I says, what's up? How are you? You all right? And I got chatting to her. She says to me, no. She said, I've no rent. She said, the guy in the bank told me to come to the Peter McFerry Trust, that they'll help me. And I says, right. I says, like, where are you? What's going on for you? How are you? Blah, blah, blah. So we got chatting. I said, come on. I says, I'll show you where you need to go. Because there's a day service that you can go into where you get support. So we brought her up there. But on the way up, she was telling me she's a full-blown evangelist. And she kept saying to me, it's through the power of Jesus. And all this mad stuff. And I was saying to her, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I just want to get a cup of coffee, love. I don't care about bleeding any of that. Do you get me?
That's your stuff.
Yeah,
That's your stuff.
attitude in life,
That's your
Johnny. Yeah,
stuff.
sure, understand that.
And it's like, I have spent, I suppose this is really strong in me, Martin, because my ma tried to force religion down my throat, and me family did. So for me, it's a very, very
At what age?
liberating.
At what age, basically?
Since I was a young kid, since I was very, very young. So for me, because of that, I think I've got to a place in my life where I just believe in the love that I have inside of my soul. I don't relate that to anything externally. It doesn't. You get me?
But
It's
you don't think it came from anywhere, no?
No, I don't even think like in that way. Do you get me then?
Yeah,
I don't think externally that it comes from anything. I just think it's inside of me. I have it innately.
So,
and it comes from me, like the joy that I see in my beautiful daughter's eyes.
Oh, bless
So
her,
when I look at Harper Lillian when she was born, and I held her, I cried for the first time in my life. I literally cried uncontrollably because I couldn't believe this bundle of joy that I was holding in my arms. And I never experienced love. Never in my life. All I experienced was trauma, violence, you know, all
the
that.
bad things to
Yeah.
do.
So when I had Harper for the first time in my life,
Johnny's smiling there.
I got a real glimpse of pure, true love. And that was the first time. And I was 37 when that happened.
That's fucking beautiful.
Child of Prague.
The Child of Prague.
I'll tell you a little bit about it, right?
Yeah.
When
Hold on, I'm in tears listening to the story there.
Yeah,
The Child of Prague.
Yeah.
why do you think it stopped you?
But come here for a second. I'm going to just finish right when we'll talk about the Child of Prague. So when Harper was born, I believed that was the start of my new beginning in life.
So
was
we're
it?
going to use
And
a
was
very
it? Yeah.
evangelistic thing. That was like you were reborn.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I'm
you
all
can,
right with
and
that.
we can put Muslim, Buddhist,
You can put whatever you
Christian,
want.
Catholic.
Yeah.
In AA, it's the higher power.
Yeah.
It's in other things, it's bleeding,
In
Jabuba.
yoga, it's
It's the third eye.
yeah.
But there's
the
loads
chakra,
of labels
the
for
third chakra.
it. But if we just allow each other to have our own thing, whatever our thing is, and we can, because we all know in this world that, you know, we think that we're right, and if we're right, well then he must be wrong. And we get this self-righteous thing, and it stinks, it smells. We've had it in this country for years.
Yeah.
And what you've experienced is what you believe for you is love. And you call that Sean. You call that Harper.
Yeah.
You call that feeling free from all that shit that was happening to you for 30 odd years.
Yeah.
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 It's fucking deadly.
Yeah, it's freedom from all of that, all of them old beliefs, all the shackles, all the fucking torture,
Superstitions.
all the superstitions, the pain,
The H's.
the H's,
the
the
heroin.
magpies, the heroin, the blocks, the fucking police, the
Oh,
cells,
I'm getting shivers.
the social workers stopping at
robbing.
Fort's Chipper on the way into the bleeding, on the way into Eccles Street, We used to have to go there, sleep in the police station till 2 in the morning. The out-of-hours social worker would come and get me. And she'd stop in Forts and Fisborough, and never forget it. She used to get me a beautiful burger and chips and a can of Coke. And that was at about 3 in the morning. And I'd be cold, freezing, and I'd have that. And I'd go in and she'd send me up to the room and I'd be in my own little room for the night. And I'd lie in the bed.
About social worker. What age were you? 12, 13?
13, 14.
13, 14. You'd already stayed in Peter's in the hedges, had you?
Yeah, I was in the pipe box.
In the what?
Pipe box.
What's that? In the pipe box?
Outside the lift.
Outside the lift, yeah. I was in there with my brother, yeah. So Peter go, you can't come in. So Peter McFerry had a flat in the tower block there. If you were too young, he wouldn't let you into the house because the older lads were in there and they were smoking gear and bits and bobs.
Yeah.
So he'd say to me and my brother, just sit out in the pipe box for tonight. And then if you're still there after a couple of nights, he might bring you in, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the pipe box where all the pipes went up and down the tower blocks, and there was a bit of heat in it.
Yeah. It was roasting. It was
I was there, brother. I'm just going to put my hand out and give Shawnee a little tap because I was there, brother. I was there. It was beautiful.
So the pipe box was the start of my journey into Hedges flat and that world of
Hedges Peter McFerry because he has fluffy hair.
Peter McFerry. We used to call him Hedge. That was his nickname. We gave him that nickname, because he had a big hedge of grey hair, Martin. And years ago, he was a priest. So the lads in the flat, the real old timers, like fucking Jer Bewley, Joe Counton, Rocky Smith, Ollie Prendergast, all the older lads gave him that name.
Yeah.
And then it was passed down to us. So, like Dan said, I was in the pipe box for 2 weeks and he took pity on me and he brought me in and he gave me a bed in the house.
And what brought you to Peter McFerry, knowing he was a priest?
I was homeless.
Yeah?
I was on the streets.
So you turned to God for help?
No.
You're trying to blatant convert him in front of us, are you? Let him tell a story and stop pushing your God on him.
No, I didn't convert to God because he was a priest.
He is a priest, that's
He is
right.
a priest, yeah, but he just had this flat that took in.
But is it not by the grace of God that he was there to help you out?
Yeah, but also Peter has a story as well. Peter went to Summerhill and got a fucking wake-up call because he was in the Jesuit, doing his Jesuit training, 12 years, all paid for, up in Clongowes. Had all his bleeding, had all his bills paid for, and then went to Summerhill and got a slap in the face of reality.
Yeah.
And Shawnee lived in that reality, and then Peter came to Ballymun and helped young fellas like Shawnee in that reality of poverty, pain, trauma, addiction, misery baitings, abuse, all types of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was basically our hero.
I went off him one day.
Yeah, he was our hero.
Would you say he was a godsend? Yeah.
No, he was a hero.
Martin's doing conversions next week.
Yeah. No, but he was the most amazing person that I met because what he done for me was he showed me compassion. He used to, like, the stuff that he used to put up with. And there was loads of staff worked in the flat, so we got to go on outings with Pedro. We went fishing. We done all this great stuff. Like, I loved it in there. And I was starting to smoke heroin. And
what age were you there, Sean? Just for a reality check for people. What age were you?
I was 15, 16.
15, 16.
Did you know that he done mass here about 4 weeks ago in Ballymun?
Yeah, he does mass all the time.
Yeah. And did you know that he was attacked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Someone knocked at his door early hours in the morning.
I was down with him a couple of days later having a cup of tea.
Opened the door and gave him a few bangs. It was sad.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not actually sad, Martin. I'll tell you what it is. It's reality.
Oh, yeah.
Because that man lives in a house in a community where his door is open all day. Yeah. And the people that are going into his home, Martin, are not going in there to bring him in a bleeding gatto cake and a fucking flat white or a latte and...
He's open.
Like, he was cleaning for him.
His door is open.
He's open to it.
It's open for everything. It's not just open for happy, bleeding, clappy. He's in the marketplace, as Ramdas would say. Yeah. He's in the marketplace and he's living it. He's not stuck in a church or in a cave somewhere praying and meditating.
No, he's on the front line.
He's in it.
Yeah. And that's where he loves to be.
And he was your superhero.
Yeah.
Probably a father figure.
Yeah.
And he showed you unconditional love.
100%. Yeah.
Did he ever talk to you, Shawnee, about like faith or about God?
No, never. And that's what I loved about Peter.
Serious.
That's what I loved about the man. He never, ever done that with me.
Not what I'm trying to do. Not what I'm trying to do
No,
now.
but he just, do you know what? Yeah, no, but you know what, Martin? He just never had that. He's like, he would do that through action or through love.
Yeah.
Right, sorry, a big boom there. So a couple of weeks ago, me and Martin were having a conversation about some serious stuff what was happening, and he was looking at these statues across the room, and I was saying, Martin, you are those statues. It's the work that we do in this world. That's the reason what we all look at these statues or these idols or these gods. It's the work that they done in this world. So let's do the work in the world and let's stop just talking about it. Do you know what I mean? And Peter does the work in the world. And that's what connected with you. It wasn't going to mass. It wasn't about hearing the gospels. And if that's your thing, that's your thing. And if that works for you, that works for you. It wasn't working for you.
No.
What was working for you was real world love and compassion, a pair of jocks, a hot bleeding meal.
Hands on. And I've gone to church with Peter to bury people. Only recently we buried a lad that was living with him. And so I've seen him saying mass. I've been in churches with him many, many times. But he's never, ever tried to talk about anything like that. And I've spoke to him like on a one-to-one level about issues that I'm having in my life. And I've got guidance on him on many, many occasions. And he would just talk to me like the way we're talking here.
Very good.
That's brilliant.
Do you know what I mean?
Give us for people, I know you as much as anyone could know, somebody.
Yeah.
I know you. You've talked to me. You've said stuff to me that you probably haven't said to many people about shit that went down in your life, about bleeding, stuff that has come up for you, fingers that were pointed at you, shit that you done when you were on your arse, when you had no teeth, when you were on smack, when you were bleeding in the gaff, robbing, all that, whatever. Martin doesn't know you like that. He knows you as the fella who bounces in, is full of energy, who does bleeding yoga classes, has a big smile, just done an Ironman. So fill in the gap, between that young fella and where we are now. Give us that story. Bring us on that journey.
Basically, where you made your change, Johnny, and how you progressed.
So that's a long process that we're gonna condense down because we'll be here for too long.
We'll be here for 2 lifetimes.
Yeah, definitely. So I am from this community. Grew up in Shangan. Well, I started in Balbutcher Lane. I set my ma's flat on fire as a young kid. Messing with matches, place went up. So we moved to Shangan Gardens. I never felt quite full as a human being. Never quite felt all right. In school, on the street with the lads, I was always moving groups. I was going here, going there. I was fucking chasing young ones when I was quite young. I was trying to fill myself up with all of this external stuff. And then, obviously, unfortunately, because of the community I lived in, and all my role models were drug dealers. And that's what I was looking up to. That's all that was ahead of me. So I looked around and basically my friends that I grew up with were looking at the same thing and we all started using drugs, basically.
So it seems to be normal at the time.
Yeah, it was normal. And then my ma and dad had their own shit going on. There was a lot of stuff happening in my gaff that I didn't enjoy. And I made a decision to jump out of the boat. I said, I'm not having this. I'm out of here. So I started dropping out the bedroom window, going on go, staying out on the street, hanging around. I used to stay in the SO garage with Alan overnight. Used to sit there with him. He'd give me a can of Coke and a packet of cigarettes and crisps and a Mars bar, and I'd sit there all night. Other times I'd sit in the block and country on my own on the bottom of the stairs, freezing, waiting on someone to come down and bleeding. One lad that I know, he's actually in recovery now. He used to come down real early in the morning to go to work, and he used to give me a couple of D5s and a few bob.
What's D5s just for people?
So D5s are Roach, Valium.
Yeah,
they're a
Valium.
relaxer.
Yeah, benzodiazepines.
Benzodiazepines, yeah.
Very good.
So he used to give me a handful of them and a few quid. Like, he give me a $5 and he'd say, get yourself a coffee, because he felt really sorry for me. And I mean, so he should have. I was quite young, like, you know what I mean?
What age were you on the D5s?
I was 18, 19.
Okay.
And I was homeless, so I was using a lot at that point. But when I was 14, I got locked up in a young offenders home for a mugging that I done in Ballymun. I had a blade up to a fella's neck, and I got done for that, and I got sent to the Circuit Criminal Court. I was only 16, and the fella that was up before me that day, I'll never forget it, got 11 years for an aggravated burglary.
Oh.
And I was shitting myself down in the cell.
Good.
And when your man came back down, he was like, I'm after getting 11 years, and I was only a kid. I was sitting in the corner of the cell. Like, I was only 16. These boys were playing grown gangsters. Like, these were hardy lads, and I was shite myself in the corner. But I was giving her all that. Yeah, who's having it?
We'll do it on me back.
Do you know what I mean? I was giving her all the bravado.
Yes.
But underneath the bravado,
Inside you
I
were
was
crying.
shaking.
Little Sean was in a cave pissing in the corner.
Pissing in his pants. Yeah, so up I went in front of the judge, and the judge wasn't too happy with me. And he says to me, do you know, he says, what you done, he says, is not too different from what that last lad that was up in front of me done. He said, and I gave him 11 years in prison. Right? Now, I was shaking at this point. Anyway, cut a long story short, he gave me 3 years. The last year suspended, and I went to a place called Trinity House, which is a young offenders lock-up ward. And I spent 2 years of my life there. So 2 of the most precious years of your life I spent locked up. So that was when I was 16 till I was 18.
From a boy to a man.
Yeah, exactly. But I learned nothing.
Yeah.
I was bullied. I was mentally and emotionally bullied, traumatised. And the 2 things that got me through that time was sports. I got mad into trampoline and weightlifting, squash, table tennis, football, boxing, pad walk, anything I could put, outdoor pursuits, canoeing, rock climbing, abseiling, everything I became the best at. All of them things.
Very good.
So you were abused and bullied by the other young people that were in there, and all these things were activities that were available in the place that you could go and do.
Yes, exactly.
Adventure sports and all that.
Yeah.
These lads at 16, 17, let's bleed and give them, throw the kitchen sink at them in terms of activities to keep them
at their energy.
Busy.
Yeah, outlet and out. And I went to school while I was there, done watercolours, done loads of great stuff.
Watercolours?
Yeah.
Fucking deadly.
Watercolours. So, and I used to sell them to the staff at Christmas time. The other thing I used to do was, that got me through it, was I used to lie in my room and listen to Elton John.
Yeah.
And Elton John was a real escape for me. That
Here we
gave
go.
me
Here
that.
we go. Well, you hear this, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Kinsella singing Elton John. Give us a bar of Elton John. What was your song? What was it? Come on. Don't be shy now.
I don't remember the exact songs, but I remember listening to Elton John every...
Tiny dancer.
Yeah.
Sean, don't worry about that. Dean is good at throwing you in there.
No. So we used to listen to Elton John, Billy Joel, and that's what got me through. Because when I was lying in my cell at night, I was going over all the stuff that was happening to me. I was going over my life. I was going over what the lads were doing to me. I was going over why they were doing it, why I was weak, why all of this internal stuff was happening for me. And I was processing that every single night for hours on end. And Elton John used to take me away from that. And he used to bring me to a place where I was free and where I was singing and I was happy and I had freedom and I was Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was just in my mind. That wasn't a reality for me. But that was one of the coping mechanisms I had. And then after that, I got out and I started using even more because my self-worth, my self-esteem, my mental health was on the floor. And that was it. My life was like that, in and out.
So is that really changed?
No, well, like, I suppose what brought me, that experience that happened in Trinity House happened to me for 15 years after that. I was bullied in different prisons. I had different crazy experiences. Like I was in a padded cell one time for 3 weeks on my own, deep in a depression. My mental health was gone and I was unreachable.
Okay.
And the only person I connected with was Deco and Charlie the priest.
So Father Deco that does be here in Ballymun, yeah?
Father Declan.
Yes.
Oh, he's about giant
Yeah.
time.
Oh, here's another priest from Martin to Bleed and get you baptised
So
with.
Deco used to come in and visit me because
Sorry, Martin.
he was the only one, Martin, right, that was allowed into the cell with cigarettes.
Yes.
Because he was coming as as you know, sent, like you were saying, he was someone from God.
He was
So he was
chaplain,
holy, and he was coming in to give me some support or help me. And that was the only interaction I ever had, was on a daily
So
basis.
that's the only support you had in the jail, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, for 3 weeks, I put myself in a padded cell.
How do you put yourself in a padded cell just for people?
You just asked the officer.
Can I go to a
Serious?
padded cell?
Yeah,
And
we
were
just
you,
said
were you
we
on
want.
any like benzodiazepines at that point? Any drugs in the?
No, I was totally clean.
Yeah.
So pressure was getting you basically, and you had to be
Yeah,
put
with a
somewhere
lot
like
of
that.
with a lot of stuff going on internally, and it was impacting me mental health. So with all these like lies and beliefs and different things that happened to me, and I was thinking other people knew, and I was thinking, what are they going to think? And I was thinking of all this stuff, but it was all happening at the same time, and I was overwhelmed. I couldn't cope.
And were you suicidal at the?
Yeah, 100%.
And who was allowed in to see Father Declan?
Yeah, so I went to the landing, to the gate. I seen a load of fellas. I got a flight, and I said to the officer at the gate, "Bring me to the pad."
They're a threat to me. I think.
Yeah.
You were
I said,
paranoid as well.
Yeah, paranoid as well. Yeah. So I said, I'm afraid. I don't know what's going to happen to me. Just get me out here. Get me into the pad, and just leave me. And he was like, "What?" He didn't know what the fuck was going on. And I was like, "Please." And that was it. I went to the padded cell, and I went in, and I stayed in.
Yeah.
Hold on. There's something that was nice there. There's a few things going through my head. You went into the padded cell and you went in. What does that mean? Because you done a little movement like inside.
Yeah, so
you.
I went in.
Yeah.
So going in for me at that time was protection.
Does that mean you locked yourself away from the world? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, so I went inside myself into that place where I felt free, where I felt comfortable, where I
Safe.
felt loved, where I felt like I can manage this. This is all right.
And then you said you stayed in.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Did
It
it
means I
mean
made a decision to stay there on a long-term basis, which means that it takes a lot of resilience to do that. So that's not something that you make a decision of lightly. So that was something in that moment that I decided, and there was nothing going to change it. I made that decision for me as a human being. I'm here
But
now.
it wasn't about just I'm going inside myself, like I'm locking myself away, like I'm becoming a recluse. Was it? Was that it?
No.
It was
No.
I'm going
Just-
on a journey in
Yes,
here.
in here to find out how I can overcome this like situation in my life right now.
Because I
And
didn't
what
find
age were you
it.
then, Johnny?
I would have been, I was in the Joy,
Shawnee, sorry.
that was in the Joy and Cork, so that would have been about, probably, I was roughly 23, 24, Martin.
Just to go back to that point, you went in because it sounds like you didn't find it outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I couldn't find it outside. It wasn't that I didn't.
Yeah, you couldn't. You tried it all.
Yeah, I tried everything outside. I tried the FOI, I tried the psychologist, I tried the priest, I tried this, I tried fitting in with the lads, I tried being the clown, I tried being being the hard
hero.
man from Ballymun, I tried being the bleeding great footballer who was everybody's
The
friend.
sex symbol.
I tried being the sex symbol, ripped in the gym, and none of it worked.
And then you tried Sean,
And then I just tried Sean, and it worked.
and Sean was in there.
He was there. He was there.
Shawnee was outside,
Yeah.
banging, kicking doors,
Yeah.
slamming bleeding heads, bleeding, jumping, doing jump overs.
So is that when you
Smashing
made the
grabs.
change then, Johnny? Yeah.
No. That
So
was
you
only the
still
start.
so
That
you
was
still
only
didn't
the
learn
sta-
from there.
That was only the start.
And tell me
of it.
something, how well did you know Father Declan?
Very well.
Did you?
Yes.
He's a nice priest, isn't he?
He's lovely. He's a lovely man.
I know Father Declan now 31 years.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lovely
31
man.
years. He's a lovely priest.
He was very good to me, Martin.
I actually used to slag him for being in
most,
prison.
yeah. In my most darkest days, he was very, very good to me and showed me loads of compassion
So,
and was just a bleeding.
so would you say he was a godsend, Johnny? Yeah.
Yeah, well, if
Do you want to get baptised tomorrow at 6 o'clock?
Yeah, 6 in the morning.
So here, there's that word again, compassion, which I'm going to call unconditional love.
Yeah. Same.
And he wasn't going in and hitting you over the head with a Bible. He was just going, all right, Sean.
Yeah.
Here's a question that just came to me head. Did he call you Sean or Shawnee?
Sean.
Ooh, I can feel that. Sean is there. Sean is there. And I'm seeing him. I'm looking at Sean now. A year ago, 2 years ago, when we kind of crossed paths on the beach, I met Shawnee. the dancer, the bleeding jester.
So Dean, can I ask you a question when you're finished?
One second, Martin. The chancer, the lost boy.
Yeah.
And I'm at the seeing Sean there looking across me.
So Dean, tell me something, my friends. I'm a bit lost here. What's the difference between Shawnee and Sean? Is there two people
He's
there?
going to explain it to you now. He's going to explain it to you. He's going to explain it to you.
Yeah, well, I think I'm explaining it in my story.
Yeah.
I think my story's explaining Sean and Shawnee. Because the
But you're still Shawnee, aren't you?
No. And this is what I'm saying.
But you still get called Shawnee,
yeah. Well, I mean...
It's like our mate, Willie.
Yes, exactly.
So people would know Willie White, but we all know him here in Ballymun as the alter ego, Willa White.
Willa.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Willa.
Willa.
Shawnee. Dino. But in behind Dino is Dean.
Yeah.
And I've been Dean a long time. In behind Shawnee is Sean. You've been Sean about 12 months, is it? Or is it longer?
It's probably a little bit longer, but it comes and goes.
Yeah.
And I think that's the journey that I'm on, Martin, is like me evolving and becoming who I am now. Like what's sitting right in front of you here is like, has been a long, long journey for me. And the prison, without the padded cell, without the heartache, without the bleeding, nearly losing my arm from using, without all the trauma and all the stuff that happened to me, I wouldn't be trying to get to Sean.
You wouldn't be sitting there smiling, telling us that all the shit you went through was great.
It was amazing. It was the most beautiful experience that I can never fucking imagine happening. And I never would change any of my life's journey if I was to go back. I wouldn't change any.
Is it like a conversion, Johnny? You're just trying to say? Well,
to be honest with you, I feel...
You feel you've been converted, have you?
I feel like a different human being.
Yeah.
I feel... I'm not joking with you when I say this to you.
That's good.
I feel like I want to make people happy all the time.
Right.
I want to share pure love. I want to share Sean with people. I want to be me.
So you wouldn't be one Shawnee for holding grudges then, would you?
No.
Okay. So what would happen if you came across all the guys that bullied you for the last so many years?
So that happened to me.
Would you put your hand out and
so
shake
I got a
hands to
hiding.
yours?
I'll give you a story. I got a hiding here in Ballymun.
I know it's a random question, but it's just something.
No, it's a good question. I got a hiding here in Ballymun when I was 24 years of age. I was strung out to bits. I was selling drugs for a big gang in Finglas, selling large amounts of heroin. And I was strung out on crack. So that's how I was feeding me crack habit. Yeah. And I was wandering around Ballymun with stuff on me. I was fucking psychotic. I thought me ma had the new dog that she got was a sniffer dog and she was using it to find me stuff in the gaff. My head was melted, man. But anyway, cut a long story short, I was in the towers one night with no money. I was only had to pay me debts off to the boys. I'm in the towers with a big bag of stuff. Now in the bag is everything. Bottles
Everything
of shower gel, fucking Elmy Ma's gaff, watches, fucking clothes, anything that I could sell to get the money up for a rock. So I'm in the pub and all the young fellas that I score off in Balcurris are in the pub and they're all the lads.
Johnny's smiling at me because we know who these lads are. They know who we are. And now we can all talk about it, which is fucking beautiful.
It's amazing.
Go on.
So anyway, I'm in the pub. I'm down the back. The lads are all there doing that thing and they have their own little culture and I'm outside of that because I'm the junkie. I'm the broken down fucking fella that scores rocks and that is down here on the fucking floor, like, you know. And they're the stylish lads with the Gucci's and the this and the that, and they're kind of in a different place to me. One of the young fellas said something to me, and I said something back to him off the cuff. I can't even remember what he said because I was sick, I was withdrawing, and I was in a bad place. I didn't even think about it, so I walked outside, and 3 of them followed me out, come out behind me, and he gave me the most merciful hiding for about 20 minutes. When I tell you, he kicked me from pillar to post. From the Towers pub, they kicked me right across the road, all the way over. And every time I got up to try and run, they'd clip me heel. And I'd fall flat on my face. And I got a very bad hiding that day. And I'll never forget the feeling that I had that day, sitting on my own, bloodied, no money, lost, and feeling really fucking humiliated. And it was in that moment that I thought, there has to be something better than this for me.
Yeah, one of your lowest points.
I thought, this is not
You
good.
wouldn't change that, no?
No. One of the young fellas that done that to me, fast forward 10 years, we meets the same young fella in Coultry, Scorden, Rock, and he's homeless and he's fucked. And do you know what I done, man? I went over and I said hello to him, and I says, how are you, pal?
Yeah.
How are you?
I met a few of them out swimming a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, we're fucked. Can we have a little bit of what you have?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can hold it against them, they can hold it against us, or we can all realise where we're at. We all do shit.
Yeah.
We've all been in places that we didn't want to be, but for the grace of God go I. And in that word is the word grace. And we've talked about this. That stuff that happens to us, we hate it up until the point where we realise that's after showing us who we really are, who we really want to be, what is really going on. So actually the shy is grace. We're to be grateful for it, we're to be thankful, we're to have gratitude for that stuff. And it's only really when you get through your 30s and into your 40s that you get it.
Dean.
That's the journey.
Dean, quick question. Who do you give gratitude to and grace for?
I know who you give it to. Okay, you give it to what you believe is your God.
I'm not asking tricky questions here. Simply
No,
things that comes to my
you're
mind.
asking the question, but sometimes I feel like you're asking and you want me to say God.
No.
So I'm going to say it from me.
Dean, don't feel that way. I want to say one thing to you. Do not feel under any obligation to answer the question the way you might think I want it.
Okay,
answer the way you feel like answering it.
So here's
and if
my
you don't
answer.
want the answer, say, look, I don't feel like answering that question.
here's
It's fine.
my
I'm
answer.
good with that.
My answer is I am grateful. Not to anybody, for anybody, I am just grateful. There is grace and I am grateful and I have gratitude. It's not to anybody, it's not to a God, it's just is. And there's a difference between the way I feel it and see it and the way you feel it and see it. You feel it and see it in a God or in Mary or in Joseph.
Yes, right.
For me, it's in me. It's in Dean. And it's in everything in the world. Everything all at once everywhere. It's all energy all at once everywhere. It's
so tell me
all
something.
love.
What do you go back to Johnny's question first, Johnny. I'll ask you one more
You call him Johnny one more time.
Yeah.
No, I have to. Sorry, Johnny.
I'm
Johnny,
Johnny.
I was saying
I'm
to you
Johnny.
was,
So
what I was
anyway,
saying there was, right, Dean kicked in, yeah? Me and Dean's going to be slapping the heads of each other later on.
I think this is
Great.
great.
It's lovely.
I love
The
this
dynamic is amazing.
And the way you said you met him 10 years later, yeah? And you just went over and shook hands with him, sort of gave him a hug, like.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that was good. That is love and forgiveness. I like that.
Yeah, I did. And the reason I done that was not for him.
For you. Can bring healing to yourself, yeah?
I done that for me, for the young part of myself that was battered and broken.
Very good.
And I don't want to live like that anymore. And I don't want to be any part of that. So in order for me to kind of move through that, I have to forgive that young lad and say to him, do you know what? There's me hand.
Right.
I wish you the best, because I understand that he was exactly like me.
You were there.
But he was like me. He was just trying to survive in an arena that, unfortunately, at times you have to do stuff that you don't actually want to do or that you know is wrong. And what he done to me that night, he knew in his soul that was wrong.
Yes.
But he was under pressure from his peers. Someone was probably at the saying, you're going to let him off at that, blah, blah, blah. And he probably taking the piss out of him. So he had to be seen to do that to survive.
And he didn't have the privilege of perspective. He was a young man, just like you. Shawnee was a young man. And now, as a 42-year-old father, you've got perspective. As the song goes, you've seen life from both sides now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there is a pivoting point or a fulcrum or a focus point or a rock bottom or a place of change where it goes from all the external stuff that is the problem or that is the solution to inside, which is where the love is. Yeah.
So, Sean, can we fast forward this a little bit, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. We're behind microphones here. We have no cameras on you, so people can't see what the story is here. You went through all of that for years. We're going to talk about the good stuff now. How about that? You're in great shape this minute, right?
Yeah.
You look like a top-class athlete. You finished Ironman, the full Ironman.
That's right.
3
Switzerland.
times. You just come back from, was it Brussels or where'd you come back
Switzerland.
from? You came back from Switzerland
Yeah.
just last week, was it?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. So you're at the top of your game now at this present moment. Well, I mean, you're looking to go further. I understand that, but you are in a great position.
That's it.
You're in a great place at the moment. Am I right?
Yes, yeah. Physically, mentally,
Everywhere possibly.
And I suppose the biggest place that I suppose the reason I can do all of that is because of the love.
Right. And anyone that's listening to you now, you know you have a great, a brilliant sense of humour.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, when did all this become about? When did all that change from the bad stuff? You leave all that behind you.
2 years ago.
Because we could look at you now as, if you want me to, if you excuse the language, right? If I wasn't sitting here in front of you now, right, and would listen to all this that you're coming out there for the last hour, say, yeah, chances are I'd be picturing you as maybe a junkie or a down and out this, a down and out that, yeah. But I can see for myself here that you're a fresh young man.
You just got to say
And
the
it's
word
amazing.
addict instead of junkie there, because
no, sorry.
junkie's a heavy old word in this community.
No, it's not a word. It is a heavy word, but
Drug
it's not a word.
addict.
Whatever you want to say, right?
Yeah.
It's not a word I would normally use.
No,
I said if I wasn't sitting here in front of you, that probably the imagination would come to me that you are, but maybe that is not a word to use anyway. Because I rarely
No, it's not a word to use.
It's
and
not.
I
would rarely use that. We actually discussed that, me and Dean, in one of our podcasts. It's not a word to be used, and I called anybody.
Well, it's addiction.
Yes.
So that's, I suppose, the
But
correct
I don't
word to
think it's-
use for it is, and this is even for myself, because I can get into the mode of saying that I was a junkie.
Yeah.
And really what I should be saying was I was addicted to drugs, because that's who I was. I was in an addiction. And I suppose for years in this community and many other communities in Dublin that they use that word. Much the same as
Truth
they
is,
use.
do you want to know the truth? The word is used, and it's used way too often.
Yeah.
It's a bad way to describe
It's
somebody.
a bad reflection on
It's
the
a-
people
it's
that
actually-
you're talking about.
Yeah, I think
It's
what
a
it does
crazy
is
word
it
to
cuts
use.
past the person.
Yeah.
It cuts past
the human side of it, yes.
and it just objectifies them as a junkie. It doesn't see them as a human who has addiction
And
to
struggles.
alcohol
Yeah.
or sex or gambling or anything like that.
Yeah.
There's a human there. It's not just a junkie.
Yeah.
It's not just
Yeah.
a homeless
I don't think-
person.
I know, I
it's
did
not
use the
just
word.
a knacker.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
exactly.
They're humans.
Human
I did
beings.
use the word, and I don't think, I genuinely do not think it's an appropriate word to
No,
use.
and
without
neither
a
do
doubt.
I. I've said it once or twice, so I
So you
apologise
were
It's
for that.
probably something that comes up because
Yeah, it's just like-
maybe because we hear it so much. It's something that we probably shouldn't pick up on, but at times it might reflect on our minds, like, you know what I mean? Anyway, I was trying to describe there what was your life story there, basically, on all the bad things.
And what you were
When
saying
did you
was,
make
when
the-
did it transfer?
When did all this thing
So
change?
when I was
When did you get converted, Shawnee?
when
Go
I
on.
was 29,
Yes.
I decided to straighten out my life, and I went to detox for the last time. There's 2 dates I'll never forget. One of them is the day where I was substance free for the first time, and that date is the 22nd of October 2010. I'll never forget that day. That was my first day totally clean.
Brilliant.
The first day of the journey with finding Sean.
Right, very good.
That was the start of it. That's 12 years now, man.
Serious.
Yeah. So what happened was I went on a journey to try and find Sean, and I found it very, very difficult.
As he laughs.
So had your mind made up that you're going to make a change, or were you just taking these steps without realising it?
No. This was just evolved and naturally happened for me.
Thank God, yes.
And I got to a place where I decided I was done for real, and that was it. And I went to the Rutland Centre. I done treatment there, which is a fancy, for anyone that doesn't know, fancy treatment centre in Temple Oak, where all the pop stars go. Now, we got a bed in there for free.
Fancy as in it costs, whatever, 15 grand or something
Yes.
to win.
Yeah. So it has a lot of stuff in it that, like, Enfield wouldn't have.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in Enfield, you're having your bleeding cornflakes. Like, you'd be lucky to have milk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas in the Rutland Centre, the chef is asking me, what way do you like your steak?
Yeah.
I nearly fell off the chair.
You had a chair, you cheeky bastard.
Yeah, I know.
So what part of the journey, why was it hard? What was the journey, what was the journey for Sean?
So the journey for me at the start was hard because I'd know AIDS now. I'd know drugs, I'd know people, I'd know escape. I wasn't in that culture anymore. And I didn't know who I was. I didn't know whether I was, meant for the life that I was trying to go on, because I'd no passport, I'd no home. I was physically in a bad place. I'd no education. I'd left school when I was quite young. I'd no money. I'd debts. I'd no self-worth. I'd no belief in myself. So I basically was starting from the very bottom of the
Couldn't
scrap
go any
heap.
lower then, basically.
Yeah. So that's what was hard then, because
who were you?
I was stripped bare. I didn't know who I was.
No labels. You had no bleeding image.
Yeah.
You had no money. You'd fuck all and not a pot to put it in.
Not a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you like that one, man?
Yeah. But tell me something about how you made your change and how you feel, how you are now.
Yeah. So that is the change. I got clean, and that was the change. I experienced
You went
life.
to the Rutland Centre.
Yeah. Got out of there, and then I
How
went
long
to
were
a
you in
day.
the Rutland Centre?
6 weeks. And then I went to a day program. I went to 12-step meetings every day.
What did the Rutland Centre do for you at them 6 weeks?
It fattened me up,
Right.
gave me loads of food,
Very good.
and gave me
Advice
time
and
to
stuff.
reflect. Just gave me a bit of time to reflect and to get a breath, get some bats into me, get some good food into me, get a good night's sleeps, start getting an idea of
Space off drugs.
space off drugs. So it was giving me longer time in that environment where I was clean. So I was getting more comfortable with that.
Yeah, and you were probably sharing that space with 10, 12, 15 other
Yes.
men and women
Who
who
were
also
recovering from different things.
were on their journey
Yes.
of finding themselves, finding
Yeah.
their Rebecca or
Yeah.
Frank or whoever. You know
and
what I
you
mean?
connect with each of them people. And through connecting with them, I learned something about me.
And
then,
you sort of understood each other at that stage.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah,
But you're also, there's a space where they know all your shite games. And
Yeah.
they go, hold on a minute here,
yeah,
shite.
they pull you up.
You're doing that thing you always do there when we get talking about your dad or the church or the drugs. You go into this little thing and you get
Or
all
little-
defensive and all,
yeah,
or you
or
start
little
laughing
Johnny.
or cracking jokes or
Yeah, yeah,
doing
yeah.
the bleeding
Yeah.
backspin in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Will you just, are you aware you're doing that? And that's kind of what the Rutland or any of these places do as well. They kind of hold a little
shine
mirror
a light
up.
on you. Yeah, they shine a light on you and get you to really look at the parts of yourself that you don't want to look at, man.
Right.
The parts of myself that I ran from, that I shoved drugs down my throat, that I fucking, had sex, that I ran from. It was all of that stuff that I was running from that they were saying to me, well, what about this? What's this about? And so when I finished the Rutland, I went to meetings. I got involved in life, sport, started hanging around with people that were in recovery and were doing the same stuff I was doing. And for me, I found it extremely difficult to move away from my family of origin because my older sister was strung out to bits on crack. My younger sister was strung out to bits. My ma was in her own addiction. My dad was an alcoholic. So my whole family was ravaged with addiction. I lost two of me really close. My cousins, they were like brothers to me. I lost both of them through addiction. So, I mean, addiction was very, very prevalent in my life. And when I got clean, my ma, my sisters were all in the same place. And I found it extremely difficult to walk away from them.
Here's Johnny Big Balls with his bleeding clean life
Yeah.
and,
Yeah,
all, and all
exactly.
his answers.
Yeah, look at, he thinks he's great. Look at him going around the place. He's after forgetting about us. So I had the shame and the guilt.
Did you reach back and help them? You did.
I did. I was scoring tablets and all for me ma when I was clean. That's how much I found it hard to walk away. But over time, Martin, I got more comfortable with it. And eventually I got to a place where I totally disengaged and made that choice myself. But really, all the stuff in recovery you'll be here all day talking about. The real magic for me happened when my daughter was born.
God bless her, yes.
That's when I had this, if you like, this moment of love for me. I had it through Harper.
And how old is she now, Johnny?
She's 4.5.
So there's no turning back for you, is there?
Oh, I tell you, man.
Graduated from
She graduated from creche.
the other day.
Yeah. I'll give you a laugh. So I was going to Switzerland, had it all organised, getting ready for a race. I was meant to go Thursday morning, 7:10. Harper's graduation was on Friday morning, and I was going to miss it. And I was kind of like, I'd love to be there, but I'm going to Switzerland.
I need to do this for Peter McFerry and for Sean.
Yeah, for Shawnee, and everybody's going to be rooting for me, and they'll all be watching me on social media. I need to do it for them. And I was like, Harper's graduation, it'll be all right. And anyway, cut a long story short, Wednesday night I get an email off Aer Lingus. Sorry, Sean, quick email just to let you know your itinerary has changed. Your flight's been cancelled and you won't be flying out until Friday night.
Serious?
in his best posh Aer Lingus voice.
In my best posh Aer Lingus voice, man.
Yes.
Anyway, I started losing the plot. How the that's changing me flight. We went mad, Martin, so I was running around the place. I was saying there has to be a Ryanair flight going out on Thursday. I'm getting onto this pedal, I'm getting that done, I'm going here, I'm going there. I'll ring up them, I'll get onto Aer Lingus and the drop of piece. I was going around like a lunatic, right? And I what I've noticed is over the last, since I crossed paths with Dean, usually it's happened to me more than that time, a good few times before it's happened to me, where I end up banging into him when I have this stuff going on. And I was telling him about the flight. I was saying, Dan, you wouldn't believe it. I said, my head is melted. I need to get this fucking flight in. You wouldn't believe it. And he's laughing. And he's saying to me, what? It's all right. And I'm saying, no, Dan, it's not all right. I said, you're not understand.
So the flight was over to get to do Ironman, is it?
Yeah.
And
But you've got to miss out on the daughter's graduation, on the daughter's big event, because Sean wanted to do this thing for Peter, because Peter was Sean's superhero.
Yeah.
And then he came in with the flight cancelled, and I went, sure, that's bleeding perfect. Yeah. It's perfect. That's exactly what you'd want to happen. Because now, and I didn't know this, I didn't know Harper was having that thing the next day, but I said, now you can go and do that thing with your daughter.
Yeah.
And something flashed in your eyes, and you went, yeah. And then you said to me, she has a thing on tomorrow, we can go to the bleeding thing.
The graduation in the morning.
No, I honestly didn't know that, but I just got a sense of, this is all perfect. Yeah. It's all beautiful. It's all love. Because if it's not all love, it's just random bleeding madness and chaos. And you've done 30, 40 years of random madness, chaos. And you've gone on a little journey in to find Sean. And Shawnee is trying to bleed and grab Sean and drag him over to bleed in Sweden or Switzerland or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But something is going, no, hold on a minute here, bro.
And it wasn't until Dean said that to me that I had that moment with the love where I realised this is the most amazing thing that could have happened, because I'm going to get to spend Harper Lily's graduation with her. And when I went into her graduation, she wasn't expecting me. And I'm not joking with you when I say she lit up.
God bless her.
She ran over to her daddy. Daddy, look at me outfit. And she had her gown on her, and she had her little hat. And she wanted to get into photos with me. So the Ironman happened 2 weeks ago in Switzerland. So that was on the
following Saturday, was it?
It was the following Sunday. So we'll tell you about the
Ironman. So you still had 2 days, and your flight was, I understand that,
So we got there, we flew out on the Friday night, and I got to the hotel at about 12:30. Stayed over, and I'd all Saturday then to get prepped and ready for the race, right? So I got my bike sorted, got myself ready mentally. I was going through the rigmarole of all the panic and the bleeding, wondering, You know, what am I doing it for? Why am I doing it? What does it mean for me? Like, what am I here for? You know? And it's mad, right? The morning of the race, I was awake at 4. And the race didn't start till 7. So I'm pacing up and down the room that I'm in the hotel. And my head is going 100 to the dozen. So anyway, the build-up happened. I went down to the race, registered, got all my gear set up, got ready, done all that stuff. And we went down. I was really nervous. And I was shonny.
Why were you nervous, Shawnee, anyway?
Because I was in a place where I didn't know anybody. I wasn't comfortable.
You didn't speak of the lingo.
I didn't speak of the lingo. They were saying hop, hop, hop. And I was like, what?
You sound like you're going to a boxing match. Was it not just a swim and a cycle, no?
No. So I was terrified, right? And I was in that mode of, I was starting to look at people. What are you looking at? You know, that old fucking, you know, that intimidation, that real, I'm not sure where I am here, but don't come near
Am
me.
I bleeding lost or insecure? Am I going to start slamming heads?
Yeah. So that blew over and I started to smile and I started to realise that I was blessed. I was looking at the mountains in the Swiss Alps and I was starting to take it all in. And I was starting to reflect on where I'm after coming from. And I was like, this is amazing. And then I started thinking, so I have a chain at home with Harper Lily on it. It's a picture of me and her when we were in Hout when she was a baby. Willa took it of us. And I have her on a little pendulum and on the back of it has I Love Daddy. And I had that on me the morning of the race. And I was holding on to that just before the swim. So we went down to the swim start and there's like 80 athletes, all serious, right? Full fucking serious mode on. They're all flexing. And I'm out in the middle of the grass. There's a gap between this group and this group. And this group are entering the water and did music on. And I went into full flow. I start dancing. I start moving around the place, right? And I start going, look at this place. I was looking at the Swiss Alps and I was like, oh my God, Johnny, look at this. Look at this. And they were all staring at me as if I was a madman.
As if you were away with the fairies.
As if I was away with the fairies. And I start dancing, right, and jumping around and that energy that I carry. And I start going, let's have it.
Come on.
Who's having it?
Let
Come
it in.
on.
Let it in.
And they were all like real serious. And then a few of them start smiling and laughing, right? And then the whole group of athletes that were behind me, because I turned and in a moment, I looked at the whole lot of them and I was like, come on. And they all started clapping.
I'm getting all shivers
They all
up here,
started
you
clapping
bastard.
and going, yes! And I was saying, let's have fun today. Come on, guys. And they were all like, the photographers were out getting shots of me and all. Then I flipped upside down into a handstand and I was upside down walking on my hands, stretching, moving and totally in the moment, free, in the love. And I thought, I can do anything. I can do anything.
Good mind, Johnny.
And I get into the water and I start swimming. And when I was turning to breathe, I could see the sun rising up behind the Swiss Alps.
Oh my God.
The sun was rising as I was moving.
That's some fucking heroin you were on.
Oh, I was looking at it. Yeah, I was looking at it as I was swimming, Martin, and I was saying to myself,
Was there many swimmers?
yes.
Many?
There was about
100?
2,500.
You serious?
Yeah.
There was
So
more
when I-
people there than there was in Medjugorje that week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when
And
I
you're all
entered...
allowed in the water at the same time?
No. So there's it's broken up into sections of what you think you can do to swim in.
Yeah.
So there's different levels. So I was going in second. I was in the second group. I
I
probably
think you were
should.
about 15 levels above everybody
Yeah.
played in Shotty.
Yeah.
Sean, whatever you're calling
Yeah,
yourself, it doesn't matter.
So we ripped the roof off the Ironman.
Every
Switzerland.
photograph I seen of you, you have a big bleeding grin on your face.
Yeah. So that's another right. So that's the bit. So
So
what
how
I
far
done
did
to
you swim
get
for, Johnny,
through?
anyway?
Go on.
No, go on, Johnny.
What I done to get through that race was, do you know what I done? There was kids on the course, right?
Yeah.
And all the rest of the athletes weren't going near them because they were too caught up in themselves and breaking times and racing and running. And maybe some of them were into suffering, Yeah, because they didn't see the kids, and I was spotting all of this stuff, and the kids had their hands out, and I was, every single time I went by the kids, I was giving them high fives. A woman and her husband, older, came outside their house, and they had this bucket, and they cloths in it, because it was 26 degrees, and I was stopping and chatting with them, and I was saying, "Oh, put that over me, love." And she was breaking. They literally thought I was like a head case, and they loved me. And she was like, "Oh," and I was chatting to them. Now, I couldn't talk in their language, but they understood.
They know what
the
love is.
Yeah, they understood love and smile and joy, and that's what I was doing then. I was like, it's great to see us.
You were like a cartoon character.
Yeah, I was like, "How are you?" and all. This is amazing. I said, "Throw that bucket of water over me, love."
But you were doing what Peter had done for you, unconditional, smiley, happy love.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what was going on, what Deco had done for you.
Yeah.
There was a moment that we shared about a year and a half ago on the beach where we were walking towards the water and you were in a bleeding, full of mad energy, all weird. You didn't know if you were bleeding, shite and wine in your watch. And I kind of just walked beside you and held your hand. And it's just that stuff. It's that simple. Just love.
Yeah.
Hold your hand. Come on. We're all right. We'll go
Sean,
and
you
bleed
didn't
and
say
do it.
thanks to Dean for that because you probably didn't get the chance.
No, do you know what was the first? That was the first, Martin, the first time I ever experienced the touch of a man's hand on me. Do you get me? In a way of like love, because I knew when Dean grabbed me by the hand, it was very uncomfortable, and there was part of me was saying, "Get the fuck," but there was a bigger part of me was like, "This is fucking amazing. This is lovely. This is nice," and it was beautiful. And I suppose since that, for the last year and a half, I've been trying to get closer to that for me.
So there was two.
daughter.
So there was two Shawnees. One wanted to beat him up, and the other wanted to give him a hug. He got away like, didn't he?
Yeah. So the Ironman race was amazing. It was.
So was that your first time or last the Ironman?
No, that was me third Ironman.
You done three of them?
Yes, that was me third one. I done one
And you're
in
doing
Mullingar.
one, you're doing something next week, and you've got another one, and da.
Yeah,
But
so
in behind all of that is Sean having a chat with Sean, holding Sean's hand, being a bosom for Sean, being there for Harper.
Yeah,
You know what
that's
I mean?
it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because all the bells and whistles and fancy hotels and
Races and-
sleeping rough, getting your teeth kicked in by a load of boys, all that. It's all, as Ramdas would say, it's all grist for the mill. It's all just what it is.
Yeah.
But behind it is you, and behind that is Harper,
Yeah.
and behind all that is love.
Yeah, so Harper's the reason why the love has happened.
Yeah.
She is my driving force. She is my love. She's my joy. She gives that to me in abundance.
You've got a big scrape in your knee. What happened?
Yeah, so here's a good one for you.
He fell in the water.
No. So I've recently got a new Basso full carbon bike.
I don't know what that is, and I don't care.
Yeah. So anyway, I got the bike. So Wednesday, I'm running around the place. I'm in a transition period from the Ironman. I'm on the come down, and I'm finding it hard to slow down and settle in myself and be still. Yeah. So what I do is I race around the place, not just physically, mentally. So it's like I'm going like way beyond what I'm actually doing, and I get lost. So on Wednesday, I was running around doing workshops, helping people, fixing this, fixing that, thinking about next week, thinking about this program, thinking about what I have to do here. And I'm on my bike, and it comes to a traffic lights, and it's red. And I said to myself, I'll have this. And I went through the red light.
Oh.
The car had just gone by, so the other light was amber. And a BM came racing through that light. Yeah, because he was trying to beat it. And I was just about to enter into that junction. And I'm not joking, Mitch. I was a couple of steps away from being creamed, proper creamed. Right? And I had this moment.
Is that another-
right?
Is that another slang word? It is?
Yeah, creamed. Yeah, there's another good one for the sheet. So a couple of seconds away from being creamed. Martin likes that one. So
What?
anyway,
You never hear that one, Martin? No.
Get out of that can.
Get out again. You up the yard. And so, in a flash, everything stopped still. In a flash. And I jammed on me brakes. Over the handlebars I went. Smashed off the ground. Had to use my hand to stop me from going into a man's car. He jammed on. And I landed literally from here. His car was there and I stopped right here on top of it. And I could feel his car, put my hand on it.
A close one. And
he jumped out of his car, fright of his life he got. And he says to me, "You all right?" I was up on my feet already, had my bike up and all, and I was gone. I says, "I'm grand." All I was worried about was did anyone see me falling? Scarlet, embarrassed.
Serious.
And I wanted it because I knew I was in the wrong gear. I knew I was in the wrong ship.
I'm in the wrong here. I don't want anybody to call me out on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, hold on a minute, pal.
You were
No, if everyone just closes their eyes, I can be gone out of here in 3 seconds and I can get on with the rest of me fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. 100% nail on the head, Dino. Boom. I cycled home, broke up.
Deadly. I'm delighted.
Wounded. When I say wounded, right? I was wounded.
Emotionally, physically, your ego, the whole
I
lot.
couldn't lift my head up. And I could feel the buses coming from behind me that were at where I fell.
You know, bleeding used to harbour when you're in fucking Dardistown doing press-ups in a 6x4 because you're being creamed by a BME.
So I got home. The days were just cuts. It wasn't this stuff that was the issue. It was the internal.
Karate man bleeds on the inside.
The inside. So he was wounded in the gaff, and luckily enough, I had nothing else to do for the day. So I just wrapped myself up on the couch and I went into.
Johnny's in the fetal position right now. Touch a H. Blackboard.
Where
That
do you
was all
find the
bad
H?
luck. You got bad luck again. That's all.
Look there. You smashed the mirror, you tick. I was doing I didn't tell you, but earlier, about a half an hour before you got here, I was talking the head off somebody. Some fella, him and his mock came down from Down. They came to Dublin. They're staying out in Swords. They put into the GPS in the car Tesco's. They arrived in Ballymun looking for the old Tesco's. I said, that hasn't been there. That hasn't been a shopping centre in 10 years. It was an old car, so it was an old GPS.
He sat down, needed an upgrade.
Big time.
So anyway, I was out there talking to him and I was showing him on his phone where the Tesco's in Swords was. So I was putting it in for him and turning on his data roaming and all this. It was like he was only coming from Northern Ireland. It was like he was coming from a different planet. So anyway, as I was talking to him, I put my phone on top of his car, and because I don't know what I was trying to do. I think I was trying to impress him or something like this.
He drove off.
He drove off with my phone on the top of the car. Half an hour later, he came back, banging on the window with the phone all smashed up, going, "Hey, give us your bank details." And I think I was trying to impress him, and I'm at the realising that sometimes that's what I do. Sometimes I'm running around trying to impress everybody. I nearly lost my finger last year in a bike accident because I was trying to, in some, go on a cycle and I'll be back in 30 minutes and I was trying to get somewhere and come back.
Tour de France.
And it's teaching me that stuff about myself. It's the grace in that. It's teaching me patience. It's teaching me humility. It's teaching me the universe doesn't revolve around me. It's fucking beautiful stuff. Yeah. Seeing life from the other side, it's stunning.
Yeah.
Did it teach you to keep your phone in your pocket next time?
Yeah. My phone is smashed up. It teaches me actually I'm going to try and get rid of my phone. I'm going to try and do that. I know we're in a connected world, but we're more disconnected when we have our bleeding phones. You know what I mean?
100%.
I'm gonna make a conscious decision to reduce the use. You know what I mean? Other lads are trying to get off bleeding crack, heroin, gambling, hash, cannabis, whatever.
The phone can be a headache sometimes.
Reduce the use. Absolutely.
Remember I told you that and you wouldn't believe me.
No, yeah, but you were saying it's because it's connected by a bleeding wire. I just think it's a headache, full stop. It stops this. See what we're doing here tonight?
Yeah.
Because we're in here and we're getting to a place in a conversation where we're really all starting to loosen up. But with the phones, you're almost out. You're almost, when is this over? I need to go and do 16 other bleeding things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, the phone reminds you that there's deadlines, that there's dates, that there's events happening, that there's fucking this group here, and do you get me?
Yeah.
And it's like, I get...
In the future, there's all this amazing stuff.
It's all happening, but check on it.
Yeah.
Double check it.
Put that thing up on the thing and tell the people you're going to be at the yoke with the thing. But meanwhile, you're not even here. We're here for 2 hours and we're not even here.
Yeah.
We're half here.
Yeah.
And we're getting, through these conversations, through the last 10 podcasts with Martin, with this conversation here with you today, we're starting to get back here. You know what I mean? Into this just lovely conversation. Like.
Yeah.
So, Sean, you were finished your third Ironman?
Yeah.
Yeah? When did you do your first one?
I done my first one in a place called Crosshaven in Cork.
Right.
Did I tell you about that?
No.
That was mental.
Can we get you back in? Can we get you back in for episode 2?
How long ago was that? Give us a quick rundown. Go on.
We went to Cork to a place called Crosshaven, and I done a full Ironman with Jerry Prendergast and Davy Hill. And we went to try and do an Ironman in November, which is not a good idea.
No.
Especially not in Cork.
There's a picture online on Johnny's Instagram. I don't know if he's put it on his or mine. And it looks like he's looking for his mammy. He jumped into the bleeding Irish Sea. Was it the Irish Sea? Or
Yeah, it was in Cork.
In Cork,
Yeah.
whatever that sea is. He
With
jumped
a
into that
wetsuit
sea with a wetsuit
On
on.
the head, it was like a gimp mask. Right?
You were like
You
a
wanna
gom-
see the
what was
gimp?
that word you said?
Yeah, it was like a bleeding gomy.
A gomy. Looking for your mammy,
looking
to
for
hold
me
you.
mammy. There's the gomy looking for his mammy. With the gimp mask on me to keep me warm, right? With the full wetsuit, with boots on me. The only things that were not covered was me hands. And we stayed in that water, me and that little lad here, the two of us.
Jerry Prendergast, who
Yeah.
just won a decade.
The continuous decade.
10 Ironman in 10 days. He just won it in the UK.
Yeah, amazing.
He's a lunatic. We'll get him on the show in a couple of weeks.
Good work.
We're going to get Seany back in 6 months' time, Seany.
Yes.
Because I think the journey that you're on now is much more interesting to you than the journey that you've come through. You've done that. You know that. You know what I mean? Getting your teeth kicked in, bleeding prison cells and all this type of stuff. The journey of love that you're going on now is really fucking
So
interesting.
what kind of sport are you doing now, Johnny, at the
And
moment?
there's
anyway?
loads of stuff that I'm doing now, currently, that feed that love and that joy within me.
Yeah.
And that's to do with Ballymun as a community. And that's to do with changing the idea around this. So see this never happened when I was a young fella.
This conversation.
This conversation, this feeling of being comfortable in front of you two, being
Two
me.
Egypts, yeah?
Yeah, two Egypts.
Yeah, it's great.
So, but this never happened before. So this is what I want to continue. I want this to become the culture for young kids, young men, growing up in Ballymun and realising that there's a space like this available to them if they want it.
Quick question for you, Johnny, before we knock this off, yeah? Do you know any travellers?
We know loads of travellers.
Do you?
I've
Is that
only
in or out of jail?
Yes, I used to play handball in Cork Prison with 2 travellers from Limerick.
Serious?
They were great handballers.
Some of them are good, yeah, I know that
Yeah,
for sure.
very good. I know loads of travellers in Ballymun. I know loads of travellers in Finglas. I trained 2 of the travellers recently, Patrick and Jimmy Mon,
Oh, very good, yes.
and I'll be very close with them. And they have great time for me and they think
So
I'm
you were
great crack.
actually training them now, huh?
Yeah, I train them for boxing.
Very good, Johnny.
Yeah, and they can't keep up with me.
No.
No, they're not able.
Johnny, could you leave a few sugar lumps for Dean there, please?
When you compliment yourself, Martin
Dean
says,
likes a couple of them as well, he does.
sugar lumps at yourself. Man, it's all right for men to
Dean
be able
likes
to
a couple of
compliment
them as well,
themselves.
No, I don't mind giving myself like
A little bit of
work
praise.
hard
So you're entitled
to
to
be
it,
in the
aren't you?
shape that I'm in,
Yeah.
and I like bragging about smoking yumplers that I have me age. You know what I mean, Dino?
Well done.
So thanks for having me on the show, man. It was brilliant. Thanks, Martin,
Thanks
for allowing me into the space, man.
You're
It was
welcome,
it was
Johnny.
beautiful. It was
I'm going to
lovely.
get your name right before we go, yeah?
Yeah, Johnny,
You're
Seany,
very
Sean.
welcome, Shawnee, yeah?
Yeah. Thanks,
Sean,
Martin.
Seany, Bang Bang Kinsella.
Yeah, thanks,
Steady.
Dino. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, brother. You really helped us because we've done 10. And one of the reasons we done 10 was for me and Martin to get comfortable, for Martin to get comfortable doing podcasts because he'd never done them before, to be start to open up conversations that we mightn't that we just wouldn't have had before. So we've done 10. You're 11. You're our first guest. You were an obvious bleeding choice. We're going to spread this conversation out to the world, and we're going to ask you guys who else you want to get on. Recommend if you're someone who wants to come on and tell your story or have the crack with us, or explore, a traveller and a countryman and what that is. Reach out to us. It's all love. It's all good. It's all Ballymun. Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shawnee, for your my friend.
So that's us for this episode, a Traveller and a Countryman podcast. If you like it, let us know, share it around, and we'll see you on the road.